Good afternoon. Welcome to Women of Wisdom, Let's Talk podcast. Today we have a special guest on our show, Shameka Burnett. Hi, welcome, Shameka.
Thank you.
How are you?
I am doing great. Happy to be here.
Okay, so I'm glad to have you here because we're going to have a very interesting conversation. We're talking about physical fitness and much more, actually. So tell the audience about yourself, Shameka.
Well, what you want to know? No, so I am an Army veteran.
Mm-hmm.
I had graduated in undergrad with my early childhood degree, but I decided to go into the e-commerce industrial field. Proud member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. A gospel mime, actress, Zumba instructor.
Oh, yeah, a lot going on.
I'm now currently studying for my master's at Syracuse in applied data science and a fitness enthusiast.
Okay.
Future bodybuilder.
Okay.
I'm claiming it.
Okay. And I know you said you were certified in diversity.
Oh, yes. Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Okay, tell me about that.
So during, 2020, where we had like a whole social change in our climate after the death of George Floyd, my company decided to focus more so, just like a lot of companies, on making the work environment more equitable, striving to be more diverse, and just making it a better place for everyone so that they can have a sense of belonging. I was a part of the Inclusion and Diversity Council at my company for 3 years, and then we transferred all of that work over to what we call racial equity committees and teams, and they had me doing so much work underneath that large umbrella that I decided to go to Northwestern so that I can come from more of a knowledgeable perspective, have more of a knowledgeable expertise when I was teaching and, leading a lot of sessions, just trying to, do the right thing. So,
okay.
I'm proud of that work. That work has kind of opened up my eyes.
To a lot of things, and I'm quite sure it's much needed.
Yes.
Yeah, especially now,
Yes.
You mentioned Gospel Mind. Tell me a little bit about Gospel Mind.
Oh, you familiar with K&K back in the day with the Bobby Brown show? You remember Bobby Brown?
I remember Bobby Brown.
On BET. Mm-hmm. Well, they were my favorite. They were the first quote-unquote gospel mimes and just inspired me as a 9-year-old. And in 2010, I started miming through my church, just an expression, a different type of ministry where we're, interpreting the words of a song or a sermon through our body and our facial expressions without any actual talking. So did that for a good 10 plus years. And yeah.
I know.
I can't sing.
Very good at it, though. I have
sing.
seen her in numerous of her gospel minds, and she's very good at what she does.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've been on sabbatical a little while, but it's still a blessing to be able to be allowed that opportunity to minister in front of God's people.
Yeah.
And plus, like I said, I can't sing, so he gave me that instead.
What you say? I can't sing, so
I'm a mime it. I'll give you all the facials and stuff. But the no will hurt everybody's feelings.
Never know, though. You never know. So, actress. You are also an actress. And I know I met Shameka from my niece, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we had bumped into each other, and then I found out then she was my niece's friend. So, we have a lot of interactions. So I know she's a great actress because I done went to many of the shows. So tell us about that acting career. How did you get into that?
Well, I just started doing local plays and short films. I had went to the Academy of Art University in San Francisco a little bit for film school, but decided to go a different route as far as being behind the camera But I love acting. I'm not the starving artist type, so like I feel like it's still something that I would like to pursue later on because there's no time limit on it. But yeah, I just started auditioning for plays, and I've always been in performing arts through church and ministry and stuff like that. Done some, one of the cool projects that I've done was the 360. It was like a 360 virtual project for Tri-C.
Okay.
I got casted as a social worker, and we don't like to call them victims. We call them survivors of a survivor. And it was just really neat. It was for the police candidates, for those candidates that are trying to become police officers so that they know how to interact with survivors that have gone through so much trauma. And the actual survivor had the 360 virtual camera on her. And we had to act as if we were talking to her, but once you put on that virtual camera, you now are becoming that survivor, and everywhere you look, like it was crazy because I would put it on and I would see myself talking to myself. So it was a great opportunity, and one of the biggest opportunities I had was in 2015. I got casted down at Playhouse Square with Philly Whedon standing in the need, so that was really, really cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Wow. Tell us about some more. I know I've seen you in...
Well, that right there opened the doors to...
So Phyllis Whedon... Oh, they opened the door.
Yeah, that kind of opened the door to the whole fitness and Zumba.
Okay.
And, all of that stuff. Because when I had... It's funny because I was with your niece that day.
We just... Go ahead. I'm like, okay, I'm somewhere else. You somewhere else too. Okay,
well, you was talking about the acting.
Yeah.
And then I kind of transitioned to something
That's
else.
okay.
But that acting opened up doors, and it's really not done. I like to pursue acting more further on down the line. Okay. Right now, my focus is like school and fitness.
Okay.
And bodybuilding.
Okay, now that's the major part. Now let us get on physical fitness. How did all that begin?
Well, I joined the military.
That started it. I'm quite sure. Boot camp, right?
Before I always played sports. And then I joined the military. I could be long-winded, so I'm gonna keep it short. Joined the military, and one of the things that one of my drill sergeants told me was a lot of things you can't control in the military, and sometimes things are taken away from you that you deserve. But one thing that no one could ever take away from you is your health and your fitness. You need to be healthy in the military. You're going to go fight for, the country. And that alone opens up so many doors. So I just always remember that. And, I came back because I was in the Guard, so it was part-time serving. But when I was casted in that play down at the Playhouse, all the cast members was like really fit, and I was just like, man, I'm not about to be on this stage and be looking crazy. So I didn't know where I auditioned was what ended up eventually turning into my gym. I'm not from Cleveland, so I wasn't familiar with Naturally Gifted at the time, and that was where my now trainer trained, and a lot of the castmates were trainers at the gym. So in preparation for the play, I was like, well, let me go check out, some of the workout class I can get my life. Because my castmate, he actually was going to train me, but our schedules didn't align, so he recommended another trainer at that gym. And then I started training. It was like, for the play at first. But the classes were just so fun. It didn't feel like, cardio classes. It didn't feel like I was going to the gym. It felt like I was going to the club.
Having fun.
I was dancing. It was so fun. And then everyone was just so energetic, and just the environment. So, I was teaching. I was going to those classes, and then I got certified to teach Zumba.
So how long did that take? How long did it take for you to actually go through the class and then
Zumba?
Mm-hmm.
Zumba is like a day certification.
Really?
Like you go and you pay your money and you get certified. They teach you. And you have to keep up with the certification so you can be, in good standing. But it didn't take long. I just used to attend 2 different Zumba classes, and the instructors were so great. They encouraged me to be that good. And my schedule stopped aligning with going to those classes. I was just like, I'm going to start teaching myself. And then I found out there was an opportunity for me to teach where I was going to the gyms. And yeah, that's what happened. I started teaching Zumba, and then I started training. But my personal training started it was just kind of fun at first, but it wasn't until I started actually having some fitness goals.
Okay.
Where it kind of turned into something else.
But that's good that it started off fun and then it just motivated you to continue to...
Yeah, I didn't realize how much that commitment relates to so much other things in our lives.
Yeah. So you say Zumba. What exactly is Zumba? Everybody don't know what Zumba
is just a variety of different rhythms. I would say mainly Latin-based rhythms, but it's not. You have different rhythms, African beats, reggae beats. So, it's just a dance fitness class. So you teach the rhythms, and I always like to give my students that came to my class a great experience to where we all got to deal with life out there. Yeah. But when you hear release, right. I used to have people come to class and they would go the wrong way the whole time. But that's okay because you still moving. You still having fun. One time I had a young lady. She cried after class. And honestly, I thought she was, very, very, energetic during class. But after the class, she started crying and she started apologizing. And I was so caught off guard because I'm like, what? And I guess she was just going through a lot. She was traveling. She gained weight, relational things. But I didn't even know her. And for her to, kind of release that out, she was thanking me. It made me feel good because it made me feel like, at least one person got out of the class what I, strive for.
Okay, just one person got out, but I'm quite sure when you sit back and you looking at everybody else doing their thing.
I just like to have fun.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I love about the dancing club, the Zumba, because you dance and you having fun, working them calories out.
Nobody going to the gym all the time.
Right, it becomes boring, and it becomes.
I wouldn't say boring.
It becomes I know me. I have gained some, and I'm just transparent with everything I say. I gained some pounds, and I'm like, okay, Lord, I gotta get these extra pounds. I done got married. I done gained all these pounds.
That's that happy.
Yeah, that's that happy where you want to sit down at the table with your husband, he eating, and you just sitting. When you ain't used to accustomed to, you eating right with him. Yeah, that's them happy pounds. But anyway, I found. With them happy pounds going to the gym, then all of a sudden I got tired of going to the gym.
That's when you need to change it up, And it's so much out there. You don't have to just go and get on the treadmill. There's so much classes and variety of different activities that can keep you moving and engaged. And once you really just start, you begin to grow like a community of folks that are like-minded, and it helps you because without that accountability or that encouragement, it's hard. It's like we kind of got to unlearn behavior so that we can, put ourselves to be in a position to be our best self.
Okay. So. And not only that, we have to build ourselves up to a certain point. You think, I'll get on the treadmill shoot, I'm going to do 2 hours
You mean
and a half.
Endurance?
Yeah, your endurance. I'm going to do 2 hours and a half. I look at that, then all of a sudden I'm focused on the treadmill. Oh, Lord, it's only 45 minutes.
That treadmill, something else. Listen, I got to listen to music on the treadmill.
Yes.
I have to listen to music. Some people can study and read. I can't do that. Because for me, that's my time to kind of go somewhere else mentally. So I give myself that. And,
that's good.
I like to make it fun.
Yes.
So I put on that crunk music that get me going.
Yeah, get you moving. My husband just bought me some headphones, and I found it so much easier. Without music. That's why I was getting boring and like, I can't do this. But when I get on those headphones and I'm on that treadmill,
it's
and I'm just gone.
Completely different workout.
Yes, completely different. I can do an hour and a half with my music on. I just keep walking and keep running. Yes, and it's so healthy. It keeps you fit. It keeps you moving. So, tell me about. I've never done Zumba though. I have to take Zumba.
Yeah, get into
I've never done Zumba
classes. All you have to do is go to Zumba.com, type in your zip code, and it'll, showcase like all the local Zumba classes or Zumba instructors rather teaching in your neighborhood.
Wow. So, let me ask you this: in the physical fit, getting down them pounds, getting fit. So tell me about.
I ain't my leanest right now, but it's a lifestyle journey. Yes.
But you still are there. You're still doing
I'm
your
still
thing.
Working. Yeah, I'm still. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right. So you have to be mindful, right, of what you put in here. What you put in the sugars and
that's the most
breads and all that stuff we know ain't good for you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's the most important part. You know, I would know. Working out really is like riding a bike. Like, it's very easy for me. But as far as your health, you can do that all day long, but you can't outwork out a bad diet.
Right.
That's the cliche, but it's true. It's true. And then there's a lot of things that now really trying to be, because I would like to be, at least get to the stage one time. I'm striving to do bodybuilding and just now learning the science behind food and how, different foods, like down to the macros, what sugars do, what fats do, what proteins do, what carbs do. People think carbs is bad, but it depends on what kind of carbs, how much of what you're putting in. Your whole body composition changes with the proportion sizes of fats versus carbs versus proteins. It's all science based, and sugar does something to our bodies and our dopamines, and it takes you up and it brings you down, and there's insulin involved, and there's people, you think you got to have all these medicines when really the food is what it is, and that is related to depression and all this. And you wonder, you get into this cycle, and you down and down and down. That's because it's the sugar. It's hard to break. That's why I'm trying to get this stuff right now so that I can teach my children a healthier lifestyle. Because I didn't know until I was in college that people didn't eat sweets every day. Because I was like, where did this guy at my house growing up? I mean, and I think,
and in our culture,
just because we come from a culture where we wasn't eating like that, we was eating to survive. So my grandpa, he don't eat beans to this day because that's all they ate. It was a lot of them, and we had to eat to live. So a lot of that was like fulfilling type foods. We just all, as a black community, I think we just make it work. Whatever we given, the little that we've been given, we just make it work because we're creative people, and but unfortunately we have a lot of diseases and all of that stuff in our community and aren't really active. There's a whole lot of like equitable problems and factors that go into play, like economically, food deserts and poverty and all of that stuff goes into play. But I think, when one person get it, you got to try to strive to kind of teach, and you can't save the whole race or the whole world, but little by little, I think it's all of our responsibility.
It is. And in regards to sugar, I know, I can tell, like I used to drink Coke all the time, but when I stopped and started drinking water, and then I'll drink something sweet, I could instantly feel it. It's like I'm going down. I'm tired. I want to lay down.
You might go up first.
I want to go sleep. Right. You like doing everything. Then all of a sudden you just come and you crashing like a crash.
And then when you pay attention to it, like a lot of times we aren't really cognizant of how we're feeling or why we're feeling a certain way. We're not really tying everything back to what we're eating.
Right.
But when you're actually paying attention, that's when you can really,
Yes.
weigh, what's really happening versus when you don't eat something.
Yeah. And then you mentioned the carbs. Good carbs is good carbs and bad carbs. Like for the French fries, I substitute the sweet potato fries.
Sweet potato fries are great.
Yeah.
But you know what? Potato itself is
not too
high in fat.
Okay.
Okay. But sweet potato is definitely, I think, a better option.
Mm-hmm. But maybe you shouldn't be eating that so much neither, right?
Sweet potatoes is good to eat. Yeah,
I love sweet potatoes
like almost every day.
That's how my mom, she's 93 years old, and she love her sweet potatoes, she love her peanuts, she love her greens, she love all the natural foods that pretty much come out the ground. So in regards to you had a health care recently, and had it not been for your body, your physical body, it could have turned out to be something totally different, correct?
Yeah. I had went to just regular preventative maintenance, of our bodies. I believe truly in that. I'm in 2000 and what year? This is 23.
22, 21.
In January of 21, I just went to the doctor, regular checkup, lady doctor. And it was at the end of the appointment, and she was like, you got any questions, any concerns? And honestly, I just think it was God that I said something, because I'm like, man, like, it wasn't that big of an issue. But I spoke up. I was like, sometimes I get a sharp pain in my stomach, and I, like, cramp down, and then it go away. And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah, but there isn't a regular cadence, so I can't tell you, how, because it's so random. And she was like, oh, well, I think you might have fibroids. That's common in African-American women. I'm going to see you for ultrasound. We don't get ultrasounds on our regular checkups, which I think is an issue. But I said, okay. Went to it for the ultrasound, and they found a huge mass in my front of my stomach, dark mass, and then they found an even larger mass in my pre-sacral area. It was about 12 centimeters. And it was like, we don't know what this is or this, so we're going to send you for a CT scan. Sent me for a CT scan, and they said, oh, we think this is a dermoid cyst in the front. We don't know what this thing is in the back. We just know it ain't supposed to be there. We're going to send you for an MRI. So I was like, okay. Send me for the MRI. They was like, we don't know what it is. It's just not supposed to be there. So at first they said, we're not going to do a biopsy. We're just going to take it out.
That had to be a major scare, though.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on. At the time, I'm 31. No, I wasn't. I was 30. I wasn't quite 31 yet. But they ended up doing a colonoscopy, because the fear was it was interfering with my rectum and my colon. So I had to go through all of that. That was fine. And then they took my test results to some conference and came back and said, we are, in fact, going to give you a biopsy, because if it's cancerous, we need to give you chemo to shrink it before we can take it out, because it was so large that they didn't want it to touch other areas. I was just like, oh, Lord. Okay. But it was benign, thank the Lord.
Yes.
And in October, I got removed a ganglioneuroma tumor out of my back, and the doctors was looking at me, and like this, and I'm looking like I see y'all. Like, that did not make me feel bad. I'm like, what's going on? Like that. But they were just so, like, in awe at how they couldn't tell. Now, I work a very physical job, and I work out a lot. So when I used to have lower back pain, I just associated it with my activity. I'm just used to being sore. But my doctor said, you was in your early 30s. That should have been a red flag. You shouldn't have lower back pain. So they took it out, but they went through the front to take out, everything. they didn't operate on my bowels, but because they
Praise God,
moved
they
them,
didn't have to operate.
everything shut down. So I was in the hospital for like 10 days, and it was awful, Lord. I was miserable. My stomach blew up because it got filled with gas.
Oh, my goodness.
Nothing was moved. Like, my bowels were shut down. So I had to wait till they, like, started working again. You know, like, if you push, you know, they go like this.
Mm-hmm.
Mine was just kind of not doing anything. So I was walking. And finally, that last day we saw the light. And then they said I could go home. But because of my activity, they said, you know, my healing was just rapid.
Due to your activity.
Due to moving. And for me, somebody that is always so active, you know, being in that hospital bed, I couldn't walk really. Like, I had, like, to hold on. I couldn't really move. My whole stomach was cut open. Like, I thought my first surgery would be pregnancy, you know? So
Yeah.
I said, oh, well, here we are. But it really, really make you grateful that you can move, you know? And it's just like, man, you don't want to take advantage of these things because when that's taken away, you know, some folks don't have the opportunity to move. And being able to move keeps you healthy. You know, your heart, they was worried at first. They were doing all those tests and my heart wasn't beeping. My heartbeat or heart rate, was so low. So they were afraid to give me anesthesia. And they was like, are you feeling lightheaded? I was like, no, I'm fine. I run.
Okay, yeah.
So they said, you know,
being physical,
the more active you are, the less your heart has to pump, you know, because it's strong. So they was like, do you, like, run? And I was like, yeah. And it was like, okay. So that alone just you know, so many people think about fitness. They think about the outside.
Yes.
You know, looking good is just a consequence. But it really, you know, has a lot to do with what's going on the inside.
Yeah.
And up here.
Yeah. So had you not been so active, that could have turned to a whole total different.
That's just what they told me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So it's always good to keep your temple.
Yeah. I mean, and you're taking care of your temple. I mean, honestly, exercising is good for our mental as well. You know, for me, for a long time, I still struggle with it now. I have really bad anxiety. I think prior to August of last year, I didn't know my threshold. I overwhelmed myself with too much. So training has become like a release.
And that's
before, not so much now. Like my trainer knows, like I would cry a lot because I would be like not right in my head. So like now I need that. Therapy helps now also, but it's all tied together. And when you're working out, you're releasing those endorphins, and you know, it helps your mental.
Okay, well, thank you so much. You gave a whole, yes, you did, a whole lot of valuable information.
I had a whole lot of stuff I wanted to say.
That's why I told you. That's why I told you it's a half-hour show. We can't talk like an hour.
I like to improv, though. I like the improv. Because I was like, ooh, when she gonna ask me? I can say this.
So if anyone wanted to follow you or get in touch with you, how can they? Your Instagram? What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is Attitude of Gratitude, but it's attitude _of _gratitude.
Okay.
If you type in Attitude of Gratitude, it'll pop up.
Okay.
And I usually post like, I try to keep it like motivational or like a lot of workout stuff.
Okay. All right.
Some jet set.
Yeah. Well,
some flights.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for being here, Shameka. I thank everyone else for watching. Thank you so much. And if you take a minute or 2 minutes, if you want to donate to Women of Wisdom nonprofit organization, we would greatly appreciate it. Be blessed. Have a great day. Bye.